Part 53 of ABAt exam preparation series is about types of assessments, that is preference, self-monitoring, ABC and environmental evaluation. The first one is preference assessment. You can guess by the name preference assessment. So you are assessing the preference of the client. This is used to identify items or activities that may serve as reinforcers for an individual, helps in defining effective reinforcement strategies. So you are finding out what could be the potential reinforcement for the client. Remember that preference assessment does not give you reinforcer of the client. It explains, it identifies what could be the potential reinforcer for the client, and you can use that in designing effective reinforcement strategy. There are 5 main types of preference assessment. The first is free operant preference assessment. In this assessment, the individual is given free access to multiple items and engagement time with each item is recorded. So for example, you will add multiple items in a therapy room, in a session room, and you will record the engagement time of client with each item. You won't give the items directly to the client. The client would have free access to multiple items. He can use any toy, he can take any, do any activity, and you will simply be and you will simply calculating the engagement time of each of them. So that is free operant, freely access. This is more of an observation based assessment. Single stimulus preference assessment is the items are presented one at a time and the individual's reaction is recorded. So you will present one item to the client for once. You will record their reaction. You will record whether they are choosing to play with it or not, whether they are engaging it or not, and you will record that. Then you will give another item. Then again you will record their reaction, then another, and then you will record which item has the most reaction time, most engagement time, and that could be the potential reinforcer. Third is paired stimulus forced choice preference assessment. Just like single stimulus, you will also present items in this one, but as the name indicates, paired, two stimulus. So you will present two stimulus at a time to the client and the individual has to choose between one of them. You won't be giving them both. This is called as the forced choice preference assessment also because the client has to choose from them and has to choose one only. This method provides a rank order of preference. So this will provide which item has been chosen the most and which has not been. Next is multiple stimulus with replacement. Multiple items are presented and after a selection is made, the chosen item is returned to the array for the next trial. So you are taking multiple trials. You will present multiple items to the client, and once the client has chosen one of them, you will add the chosen item again for the next trial, then again for the next trial. So the client has the option to choose that item again in next trial, and this is with replacement. Multiple stimulus without replacement. Multiple items are presented, but once an item is selected, it is removed from the array for the next trial. So the client has chosen an item once, you won't add it in the next trial, and then again the client has to choose from the remaining one. Then again he chooses one, you will remove that item again. I'll be making a video on this one. I will be providing forms that you can use for recording preference assessments. You can get the idea of how you can record different, how you can conduct different type of preference assessment. Self-monitoring assessment. It is a behavioral strategy where individuals track their own behaviors, promoting self-awareness and independence. Commonly used in behavior modification and executive functioning training. The key components of self-monitoring assessment like these should be included in those assessment. Target behavior selection. The individual identifies the behavior they want to track. For example, staying on task, reducing interruptions or anything. Data collection method. It could be a checklist, telemarks, or rating scales. It could be anything, just you have to define the data collection method. You have to mention the data collection method. Reinforcement system. Another important component of self-monitoring assessment is reinforcement system. This encourages continuous self-monitoring through rewards, feedback, and adjustment. The process is reviewed periodically for effectiveness. ABC analysis, antecedent behavior consequence assessment. A functional behavior assessment FBA tool used to determine the cause of a behavior by analyzing its antecedents, the behavior, and its consequence. So, in AB analysis, antecedent behavior consequence are assessed. The steps in ABC assessment include recording the antecedent, like what happened before the behavior. For example, a teacher gives a difficult task. Behavior is also added, the observable action performed by the individual. For example, the child throws the worksheet. Consequence is what happens after the behavior. That is, for example, the teacher removes the worksheet, possibly reinforcing escape behavior. So the child now knows that throwing the worksheet helped in escaping that work. So this behavior of throwing the worksheet can be reinforced by this consequence. Environmental evaluations focus on assessing physical and social environments to determine how they influence behavior. It is basically used to identify factors that may contribute to problem behavior or prevent desired behavior. Key aspects of environmental evaluations are physical environment assessment. You have to evaluate lighting, noise level, seating arrangement, and accessibility to reinforcement. Like, these could also be the triggers for the client. So you have to evaluate the physical aspect of environment. Then you have to evaluate the social aspect as well. Like, you have to examine peers interaction, staff responses, family involvement. This would be the social environment assessment. And then task and routine analysis looks at structure, predictability, and transitions within the individual's daily activities. These would be the environmental evaluations. Coming towards the MCQs. Which of the following best describes the free operant preference assessment? Multiple items are available and the individual interacts freely while engagement is recorded. What is the purpose of conducting a functional behavior assessment? To identify the cause of a behavior by analyzing antecedents, behavior, and consequences. In a multiple stimulus without replacement assessment, what happens after an item is selected? The selected item is removed for the next trial. What is a key component of a self-monitoring system? Reinforcement system to encourage continued behavior tracking. Which factor is assessed in the physical environment assessment? Noise levels and lighting. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.